Okay, so here we go. And here we are with today's sublist 3. Okay, so like I told you yesterday, sublist 1 was the most common words, sublist 2 a little less common, like that. The difficulty of the vocabulary will increase as we go on until sublist 10. So today we'll be a little more faster with the exercises. Yesterday I had given you much time, so you guys already have a hang of it. So let's start with this one today. And we are doing this antonyms first. All right, so antonyms. What do you mean by antonyms? Antonyms, synonyms, antonyms. What do you mean by the word antonyms? Opposites. Okay, synonyms are words which is like paryayavacham. Okay, something that is similar to the word. Let's say angry, annoyed, enraged. All those are synonyms. Okay, antonyms and they're just opposite. So we have to put a prefix. What do you mean by the word prefix? We have to put something before this word here. And that's how we have to make an opposite of it. So the first one, justified. What can we put to make it just the opposite of justified? Prefix. What word, what letters can we put? Justified. Let me give you the first example. Unjustified. Unjustified. So unjustified is the opposite of justified. It was a justified scenario. I would say it was a very unjustified, let's say, verdict. Verdict means something like, give me a Malayalam word for verdict. ഈ കോടതിയൊക്കെ ലാസ്റ്റിൽ അവരുടെ ഫൈനൽ വേർഡിക്റ്റ് പറയുന്നത് വിധി, yes. So you can say justified is something which is like, okay, എല്ലാവർക്കും ന്യായമായിട്ടുള്ളതായിരുന്നു. Unjustified is ഒരു കുറച്ച് അന്യായമായി പോയി. So that's what we have put here, justified, unjustified. So what can we put before proportionate to make it an antonym? Think of the words. You can put un in front of it, you can put in front of it, you can put dis in front of it. Think about it. Proportionate, unproportionate undo, inproportionate undo, other disproportionate ano? Disproportionate, yes. So I would put this in front of proportionate. This will become disproportionate. And let's be a little more quicker. I mean, done when done. Okay, like I said, even if it is wrong, I am right here to give you an understanding of it. Okay, so do speak up. All right. So registered. It is a registered number. Let's say registered. It's not a registered number. What will we say?
Unregistered.
Unregistered. Very good. So we'll put un in front of the word and there you go. Okay. Reliable. She is a reliable person. നമുക്ക് ഡിപെൻഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്ന ഒരാളാണ്. Otherwise, let's say ഒട്ടും റിലൈ ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റാത്ത ഒരാളാണെങ്കിൽ what do we call such a person?
Unreliable.
Unreliable. Good one. Unreliable. Look at the next one. Specified. These are all simple.
Unspecified.
Okay.
Not
Not this. Unspecified.
Specified.
Unspecified. Okay, the same prefix will come. Okay, this is a specified work or something. Specified is something specific, exact. Specified, unspecified. Okay, sufficient. Opposite of sufficient. And though insufficient. Very good. Insufficient. We'll put in front of sufficient. Great. And the last one. Valid.
Invalid.
Invalid. Great. So that one was easy. Last one was easy. So great. So don't worry about the document. I'll send the document to whoever wants to go through it. Like I said, if Neetu, Mebin, Anjana has already asked me, Pyara, if you need it. Ramya is there. Ramya got disconnected. Are you back, Mole? Ramya, you're back? I guess so. Let me just see. Yes, Ramya is here. Ramya, you can hear, you can see.
ഇത്തിരി നെറ്റ് പ്രോബ്ലം ഉണ്ട്, ഇടയ്ക്ക് വിട്ടിട്ട് പോകുന്നു.
ഡിസ്കണക്ട് ആവുന്നുണ്ടോ?
ഇവിടെ എനിക്കാണ് പ്രശ്നം.
ശരി.
ഇടയ്ക്ക്
ഓക്കെ. അപ്പം റെക്കോർഡിംഗ് എന്തെങ്കിലും വേണമെങ്കിൽ പറയണം, ഓർ യു നീഡ് ദ ഡോക്യുമെന്റ് അങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിലും പറയണം കേട്ടോ. ഓക്കെ. So let's go on to the next one that we are looking at.
Okay.
Okay. So what we have to do is, this is something which is a little more. I would like you to come on to this. Okay. Number 3. Complete the text from the words. Complete the text with the words from the list. You may have to again change the part of speech. Again, you have to make some changes to these words which are already there, just like we did yesterday. So let's do the first one. The Australian government has announced a dash in its dash policy. You want to try out the first one? I'll help you out with that. Okay, the Australian government has, you may
announced considerable shift in its immigration policy.
Very good. Considerable. Okay, so let me put it as, I'll put it as 1. Considerable is going right here. Considerable, this is number 2. So shift. Considerable shift in its immigration policy. This is number 3. Give me a second. I'll just grab a pen. Have a look at it. I'll just be back in a second. Okay, so now I'll be able to write better. So okay, so here I'll just write it down. So let me write it as immigration policy. Okay, let me rub all of this so that you guys are a little more clear. Has announced a considerable, ella words maatranam illa, maybe a few words here and there might require a change of speech. So Australian government has announced a considerable shift in its immigration policy in an effort to increase the numbers of both skilled and unskilled workers. The application dash have been relaxed. We have already taken considerable, we have taken shift, we have taken immigration. Look at the other words. The application dash have, plural and I have. So whatever word you put, you have to either put it in its plural form or the word has to be in its plural form. The application dash have been relaxed. What can you put? Application outcome nu parayo? Illa.
Criteria.
Very good. So application criterias. Good one. Yes, we'll put an S here. So with that, criterias have been relaxed. A government spokesperson dash. A government spokesperson. This is simple. Look at the words. Parnu. Another word aana idande. A government spokesperson
Commented.
Great. So a public spokesperson commented in inverted commas. What did he say? Current dash have led to a need for 20,000 more migrants. Current dash. Current what? Current outcome, current circumstances, current minority. What is the most suitable?
circumstances,
Current circumstances, current situations, current scenarios. So we have another word, circumstances. Yes, absolutely correct. Current circumstances have led to a need for 20,000 more migrants. We are targeting dash applicants in particular. We are എങ്ങനത്തെ ആപ്ലിക്കൻസിനാണ് ഈ ഇമിഗ്രേഷൻ നോക്കുന്ന കൺട്രീസിന് ആവശ്യം?
Minority.
Minority. Okay, we are targeting minority വരുവോ അതോ you have to change the form? Look at it. Minority applicants വരുവോ അതോ any other word? We can change the word to minor. We are targeting minor applicants. Minor means people who are much younger. Okay, they don't want people who are 45 years old, 40 years old. They are basically looking at people nothing more than 35 years, basically people who are young. So they are looking at minor applicants in particular and hope the simple one, the last one, the outcome for Australia, this one. The outcome, this one. Hope the outcome. What do you mean by the word outcome? Outcome is another word for result. Okay, for Australia will be a vibrant workforce. Vibrant workforce, that is ഒത്തിരി തളർന്ന പ്രായമുള്ള workforce ആണോ? അല്ല. They are looking at a vibrant workforce, a workforce that is young and flourishing, that kind of a workforce. Workforce means പണിയെടുക്കുന്ന ആൾക്കാരെ ആണ് ഈ workforce എന്ന് വിളിക്കുന്നത്. Okay, so they are looking at, or Australia will be a vibrant workforce which can continue this country's positive growth. So great. I think you guys would have understood now. We have done yesterday's sublist. The words were still more easier. Here the words are a little more difficult. These are the words in sublist 3: alternative, circumstances, ensure, framework, funds, reaction, immigration, implies, contribution, all such words. All right, justification, shift, layer, link, task, minorities, outcomes, validity, partnership, volume. Here you guys would be like, okay, the words are not that difficult, but this is what sublist 3 is all about. So we'll quickly check this out. Okay, so this is what the sublist 3 is all about. Like I said, I'll be a little more faster. Can I go to sublist 4? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Okay, so here you have, now you guys have time, you guys can very well go through these, the first part. I'm not doing this is because many of you would be finding it quite difficult, and moreover you should know what the noun form is, the verb form is, adjective form is. Of course, this is for people who have a very good understanding of the language. All right, so I'm not touching this part is because if you guys are interested, you have to spend some time. Basically, access, the verb form of access is accessed, ed, ing. All those forms are verb forms. All right, so they have given us blank space for that. Adjective, accessible would be adjective form of the word access. Now this is something that I would like, if you guys want to do all the sublists, I have actually omitted this particular part, is because people who do not have much of a language sense, they will never be able to do it. So at least if you want to spend some time on it, like I said, you can ask me for these exercises. The answer key is right at the end, so you guys can very well look at it and do them, and you can actually try them out so that you know which are the different forms that you can use. Can anyone tell me the difference between adverb and adjective? People know that? Adverb, adjective, the difference are here.
adverb വെർബിനെ വിശേഷിപ്പിക്കുന്നത്, adjective noun നെ വിശേഷിപ്പിക്കുന്നത്.
Very good. So what do you mean by an adjective For example, she is a beautiful girl. Girl are a noun, so the word the adjective here would be the word beautiful. Noun ne visheshipikkunna vaakana adjective. Absolutely correct. Words that that describe a noun. So whenever you say that I went to an amazing dinner, that amazing is actually an adjective. Many people, when they start using the language, especially when they are training for the language, many a times they come up to me and they tell me, ma'am, enike adjectives theere ariyatilla. That is true. Okay, Indians usually have a lack of adjective sense. Okay, most of the words that they use are very repetitive. One of those words is good. Okay, ellarthum good 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 vekkan nokkum nammal. So she's a good girl, the dinner was good, we had a good time, we had a good trip. Okay, you should try and use some adjectives related to all these things. For example, we had, like, just like I said, we had an amazing party, we had a thrilling trip, we had what else did I say? um, we had an awesome time. Inganathe adjectives used cheyda language will be a little more better. Now, what do you mean by these words which are called adverbs? Basically, verbs are action words. Okay, so she was happily playing in the field. Happily. Usually you'll see adverbs have ly at the end. Okay, so I could easily do this work. Easily do is a verb. Okay, so verb ne allegil action words ne visheshipikkunna words aanu ee adverbs. So they usually have a work to describe a verb. So usually you will see, yeah, just like here you can see, usually adverbs have ly at the end. Okay, so they would just be putting an ly and you will find the adverb form of words. So more adipikkunnilla ma'am, I'll go on to our exercise. So let's see this. Complete the following exercise with the word from the box. You may need to change the grammar. You may need to change the grammar. So you may need to, you may not need to. So that's what the option is. So let's look at, we've got 6-7 sentences here. I'll make it a little more bigger so that you guys can see it. Here we go. So take 2 minutes to check out all these sentences. Let me read them out for you. The government is setting up dash to help unemployed people return to work. The government is setting up something. Okay, so what is the government setting up? Government contrast ano set up cheyane alla. Contrast is something which is quite the opposite, black and white. Adana contrast. She is good, he is evil. That is contrast. Hypothesis. Hypothesis is something which has not been proved. Okay, ഇപ്പോഴും ഒരു പഠനമൊക്കെ ആയിട്ട് റിസർച്ച് ഒക്കെ ആയിട്ട് നടക്കുന്ന ഒരു സംഭവത്തിനാണ് ഈ ഹൈപ്പോതെസിസ് എന്ന് വിളിക്കുന്നത്. Okay, many of you would be aware while in school, in physics and science and all, you would have come across this word. The hypothesis states that x is at point A. അതിന്റെ പ്രൂഫ് ഉണ്ടോ? ഇല്ല. ഇപ്പോഴും പഠനമായിട്ട് നടപ്പുണ്ടത്. There's no proof as such for it. So hypothesis is something which has no proof. Ethnic. Ethnic is something that belongs to an ethnicity. The ethnic wear for Indian women is a sari. All right? Ethnic, something that relates to your culture of a particular place, to the ethnicity of a particular place. So like I said, ethnic. Ethnic is an adjective form. So you can look at it. Mechanism. Mechanism is something like a program, something like a technique. That's a mechanism. All right. Next is undertaken. Undertaken is something that is നമ്മൾ ഉപയോഗത്തിന് വേണ്ടി എടുത്തേക്കുന്ന ഒരു സംഭവം. Undertaken. That's what undertaken means. Prior. Prior means something done before. Prior to reading, I was sleeping. Prior. Reading ചെയ്യുന്ന മുന്നേ ഞാൻ ഉറങ്ങുമായിരുന്നു. Prior. Prior to, usually prior ne kude, what is the preposition that you use? To. Then comes the last word, adequate. Adequate means avashyatine ulla sambhavam. That is, let's say COVID karanam, the supermarkets are shut on Saturday and Sunday, and I'm asking Mebin, do you have adequate amount of, let's say, food at home? He'll be like, yes ma'am, we have more than adequate amount of food at home. ആവശ്യത്തിന് അധികം ഉണ്ട്, more than adequate. Adequate is ആവശ്യത്തിന് ഒപ്പം ഉള്ള സംഭവം. So I hope you have a little bit of understanding. Now look at these sentences. The government is setting up dash to help unemployed people return to work. What could be the word here? Is setting up what?
Mechanism.
Mechanism? Yes. Let's put mechanism here. Absolutely correct. 1 second, please. I'll make it a little more smaller. Okay. The government is setting up mechanism. Mechanism comes here. Okay. He dash to pay the money back within 6 months. The word, whichever word you're putting, the word's form will change.
Prior.
Undertook. Other than undertook. Correct. Undertaken, present. He undertook to pay the amount. Okay. Undertook to pay the amount within 6 months. Okay. We hope that further research will confirm our I gave you the example just like that.
Hypothesis.
Will confirm our, good one, hypothesis. Hypothesis pillare eppodu orthonam, especially scientists okay work in data. When they start with something, they are in a hypothesis manner. Proof illathathu kondu we call it a hypothesis. Once it has a proof, what will you call it? Tell me that also. Once the hypothesis is researched and we have enough proof, what do we call it?
Theory avo.
Theory and hypothesis mole.
Okay.
Theory and hypothesis are okay. This theory prove I kaijala endana adu avanne. It becomes a fact.
Fact.
Yes. Fact. Fact and a proof ulla sambhavam. It's a proven fact that children should eat a lot of nutrient-rich food. It's a proven fact. Otherwise, they will have health issues. So fact endana proof ulla sambhavana fact. Theory, hypothesis, okay. ഇപ്പോഴും പഠനം നടന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്, research നടന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്, so that we get enough proof for it and we can convert the hypothesis into a fact. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's do number D. You do not need any dash experience in order to do this job.
Prior.
Prior. Everyone agrees to that? Prior. ഈ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യാൻ ഒരാൾക്ക് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ്, ഇതിന് മുന്നേ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ, prior is something like I said which is just before, all right, whatever you're doing, just like I gave you an example, prior to reading, all right. Prior experience here is some sort of an experience that you have before. So let's say here Neetu is a medical professional and she is applying, let's say, for UK, and the NHS or the National Health Scheme, that's the main health department there in England, they say that we do not need any prior experience from nurses. What are they saying? Nurses experience illengilum kuഴപ്പമില്ല, apply ചെയ്യട്ടെ. ഇതിനെ മുന്നേ ഈ ജോബിന്റെ മുന്നേ അവർക്ക് ഒരു എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഇല്ലെങ്കിലും അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യട്ടെ. Okay, so you can use prior experience together. It's another combination that you guys have learned right now. Usually prior കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് you, in case, some sentence forms will have, you guys have to use to. Okay, preposition to after prior. Here, prior experience, our vocabulary sense okay. So let's look at the next one. Prior is taken. Okay, the results dash sharply. The results dash sharply.
Contradict.
Contrast.
Contrast. Yes, mane contradict illa alloda. Contradict nokke parne.
Oh, okay.
Contrast. Okay. Okay. Contrast sharply. That is, let's say, നമ്മൾ കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചത് വേറെ വല്ലതും ആയിരിക്കും, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ medical tests here. In this case, the results contrast sharply with other medical tests carried out in Australia. So let's say we are conducting a particular test and the match cheyyunundo illa. So how do we call it? Contrast sharply. All right, the results contrast sharply with other medical tests carried out. Bhayangara vyathyasam undu. Okay, so let's look at the next one. F, the company has yet to give an dash explanation for its actions. Contrast is taken. We just have these two words. Ethnic, I said, relates to culture. Adequate.
Adequate.
Adequate. Okay, yes, that is correct. The company has yet to give an adequate and evident. So of course you guys understood this is a vowel sound that you have to put. Now both these words had vowel sound. But ethnic varu, ethnic explanation. Culture related explanation arkum തരേണ്ട ആവശ്യമില്ലല്ലോ. Adequate. തക്കമായിട്ടുള്ള അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ആവശ്യമായിട്ടുള്ള explanation for its actions. So adequate comes there. I hope everyone else, Bebin, I hope whatever ma'am is explaining, you are able to understand. Yes? Bebin?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. You guys are participating. I cannot hear the boy sound. That's why I'm asking him. Neetu, Pyara, yes, Pyara, Rabia and Anjana, I can hear predominantly. But Bebin, you're there? You're not there? I hope he is there.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, okay. മനസ്സിലാവുന്നുണ്ടല്ലോ?
മനസ്സിലാവുന്നുണ്ട്. എനിക്ക് ഗ്രാമറിന്റെ കുറെ കൺഫ്യൂഷൻസ് ഉണ്ട്.
അത് കൺഫ്യൂഷൻസ് മാറാൻ വേണ്ടി തന്നെയാണ് മാം കൊച്ചിനോട് പറഞ്ഞേക്കുന്നത്. എന്തെങ്കിലും ഡൗട്ട്സ് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ മാമിന് അത് പിന്നീട് ഇടണം കേട്ടോ. Okay. In case you have a doubt, or ask right now. Maybe somebody else also has that kind of a doubt. Okay. So ask. Okay, if you have doubts, you ask. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's look at option G. There are plans to divide the country along. This one is simple. Ethnic lines. എങ്ങനെ മലയാളികൾ എല്ലാവരും ഒരു പാട്ടിൽ ഇരുന്നോണം, തമിഴന്മാർ എല്ലാവരും ഒരു പാട്ടിൽ ഇരുന്നോണം. Okay. Marathis എല്ലാവരും ഒരു പാട്ടിൽ ഇരുന്നോണം. The country is being divided along ethnic lines based on the culture of the people. I hope this is the last one. That's why I picked it up and I put it here. So country, India is one of the best examples to give in this case, right? So when we say ethnic means you have a, let's say you have a Sardarji, you have a Christian, you have let's say a Hindu, you have a Jain, you have all these kinds of different Buddhist, let's say Bengalis. All these people are from different ethnicities, different cultures. Okay, like I said, even Malayalis as such, we are an ethnicity. We don't look at Malayalis avan Christian ano, avan Muslim ano, avan Hindu ano. We don't have that kind of a mindset. We usually are represented like a race, just like these Punjabis are, Sardar especially. Malayalis, wherever they go, they don't divide themselves in terms of religion. They are mostly looked up like a culture. Oh, ivar Malayaligalana, ivar Hindu Malayaligalana, angane eduthu parayatilla arum. Okay, but there are people, there are ethnicities in our country where we say that he's a Bangladeshi, he's an Assami, but he's a Muslim Assami. There are places in our country where we do have religion based ethnic divisions, but mostly our race, that is us. Mallus are actually considered as a culture, as a race altogether. We don't have a religious barrier. People know this, okay? People know this around the world. All right, as per workforce, as per particular, let's say, employment treaty, okay? Malayalis are preferred worldwide because of the kind of, I would say, the sincerity, കള്ളത്തരങ്ങൾ കാണിക്കത്തില്ല അങ്ങനെ. That is, please remember, exceptions are always there. ഞാൻ ഭൂരിപക്ഷമാണ്, majority ആയിട്ടാണ് മാം ഇവിടെ പറയുന്നത്. So most of the Malayalis, if you go to a Britisher, he would, if there is a Punjabi, if there is a Malayali, and if there is a Bengali, he would rather go for a Malayali. Why? Because they have a lot of cultural expectation. മലയാളിയോട് കൂടുതലാണ്. ഇപ്പം ഒരു ദിവസം ഓഫ് എടുക്കല്ലേ എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ബാക്കി രണ്ടുപേരെ മനസ്സിലാക്കി കൊടുക്കാൻ ഭയങ്കര പാടാണ്. But Malayali would be like, yes sir, I will come and work. Why? Malayali there is just looking, ഇന്ന് ഡബിൾ പേ അല്ലേ, അടിപൊളി, വീട്ടിൽ പോയിട്ട് അടുത്ത ദിവസം ആണെങ്കിലും ക്രിസ്മസ് ആഘോഷിക്കാമല്ലോ നമുക്ക്. We have that kind of a mindset. So hence the preference around the world for us, especially in terms of employment, is much larger than any other ethnic group. This is something I would love to tell you this. That is because, especially nurses, okay? Nurses, when you meet them, I'm not talking about nurses who are like, XYZ nurses who are like somehow trying to do their jobs, but there are excellent medical professionals, all right? People who literally give their best and they want to move out and they work here and there. Nurses are one of the greatest examples that you can find. ഈ ലോകത്തിലെ ഏത് ആശുപത്രി പോയാലും you will see a Malayali nurse. They are preferred in that line. So this is something I would like to put forward here. Let's go forward and let's look at this. Now I'm giving you some time. Yesterday we have done something like this. Have it up.
Ma'am, sorry to interrupt. What a doubt, ma'am. First sentence ille, ma'am. The government is setting up a mechanism. നമ്മൾ പറയോ അങ്ങനെ പറയ.
Dick, if you are not putting an S, so this is as it is in the singular form now. So
Okay.
let it be, no? Setting up mechanism.
Setting up mechanism. Okay.
Setting up process. അങ്ങനെ
അങ്ങനെ ഒരു meaning.
അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മോളെ you can put a plural form also. Okay, depending on the context you can put a plural form also. Okay now, so you can also say government is setting up mechanisms. പല പല പ്രവർത്തനങ്ങളായിട്ടാണ് അവർ പോകുന്നത്. Why? To help unemployed people return to work. രണ്ട് രീതിയിലും പോവാം. അത് നീ പറഞ്ഞതിൽ തെറ്റില്ല കേട്ടോ.
Okay ma'am, okay.
മോനെ പിള്ളേരെ, please remember while you are checking the answers, പല രീതിയിൽ നിങ്ങൾ വിചാരിക്കുന്ന കോണ്ടെക്സ്റ്റിൽ ചിലപ്പോൾ അത് ഒരു പക്ഷേ കറക്റ്റ് ആയിരിക്കും. So remember, even if there is some sort of a doubt like this, please ask me that. Like I said, you can just put me an audio. I would be happy to help with that. Okay, I hope that is clear. Mole is setting up a mechanism num parayam. Ippom oru sambhavam anengil a mechanism nu parayam, mechanisms num parayam. Okay, both are correct in this case.
Okay ma'am, okay. Thank you.
No problem. You can please ask me all these things. All right, I want you guys to have this understanding. So look at this we have done yesterday. ഇതിനകത്ത് ഏറ്റവും ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻ്റ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള വേർഡ് ഇതാണ്, implication. I would want you to remember this word, especially for IELTS. Adequacy. Adequate നമ്മളിപ്പം ചെയ്തു. Adequate resources. Adequacy is another form of the same word. Adequate, adequacy. Okay, something which is required. Civility, civilian. എങ്ങനത്തെ ആൾക്കാരാണ് ഈ civilians? Army is taking care of the civilians. Are any civilians? Have you guys heard of that? Civilians. Civil. Civics, history and civics. എന്തിനെ കുറിച്ചാണ് നമ്മൾ അവിടെ പഠിക്കുന്നത്? What is the subject related to civil, civics, civility? All these words are related to common man, you and me. Okay, so let's say the school has asked all the students to come in a civil dress. എങ്ങനത്തെ ഡ്രസ്സാണ്? ആ ദിവസം യൂണിഫോം ഇട്ടുകൊണ്ടാണോ സ്കൂളിൽ പോണ്ടേ? No, you're supposed to wear common clothes, casual clothes. Okay, the civilians in the city are safe. Who are these civilians? The people who are residing there. അവിടെ ആർമി കാരുടെ കുറിച്ച്, പോലീസുകാരുടെ കുറിച്ചല്ല, the common people, the common man we are talking about. So this word civic, civil, civilian, civility, all this is related to the common man. All right. Next is conference. Do I have to say that? Check out the three options. Do you find anything? Conference.
Large formal meeting.
Yes, large formal meeting. Absolutely correct. We are going for a conference. Neetu, ഒരു കോൺഫറൻസിന് പോയാൽ എങ്ങനത്തെ മീറ്റിംഗ് ആണ് അത്? വലിയൊരു മീറ്റിംഗ് ആയിരിക്കും, ഫോർമൽ മീറ്റിംഗ് ആയിരിക്കും. Okay, nurses and doctors are having a conference at the hospital tomorrow. What is it? A large formal meeting. Got it? Conference is always for a large meeting, and that too, please remember, it's a formal meeting. Okay, let's look at the next one, debate. Do we have anything in the options? Look at it.
Formal discussion of an issue.
Yes, absolutely. ഞങ്ങൾ സ്കൂളിൽ നിന്ന് ഡിബേറ്റിന് പോയി. Debate എന്താണ്? Either you're speaking for the topic or against the topic. Basically, what are you doing? You're discussing the issue. Okay, how are you discussing the issue? Debate ആണ് നടക്കുന്നത്. You're discussing it very formally. കൃത്യമായിട്ടുള്ള പോയിന്റ്സ് ആണ് അതിന്റെ അഗേൻസ്റ്റ് പറയുന്നത് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ അതിന്റെ ഫേവറിൽ പറയുന്നത്. Okay, next comes goal. Everyone knows that. What is a goal? Goal. Do you have a goal in life? If I ask Pyara, do you have a goal in life?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Remya, do you have a goal in life?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Of course.
Of course. So what is that goal? Goal is basically an aim. Life la endeങ്കിലും ചെയ്യാൻ വിചാരിക്കുന്നുണ്ടോ? That is what you mean by the word goal. ഉണ്ടോ പിള്ളേരെ ഇവിടെ anything relating to the meaning? Goal? I don't think so. No, nothing. Only this is left, right? Possible future effect. What do you mean by the word implication? Please make a note of this. Another word, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ മാം ഇപ്പം പഠിപ്പിച്ചതുപോലെ synonym, പര്യായവാചം. Implication is another word for consequences. Possible future effect. They have defined the word here. Possible future result. Possible consequences. Implication, consequences. Another word that some people might know, aftermath. Math alla, math. Aftermath is also a consequence. The aftermath of the floods in Kerala was shivering. Aftermath. What do you mean by this word aftermath? They all mean the same. The after effect, the future effect, the consequences. So implication. Implication is another word for consequences. Okay, so let me give you an example here. One more sentence that I want to put here is the implications of the change in government's policy for vaccination can be dangerous for the people. The implication in government's policy regarding vaccinations can be dangerous for the people. There's a lot of delay in the vaccination, especially in our country, the way the vaccinations are going. Initially, we were told that after 28 days, we can take the second dose. 28 days, the second dose, second dose, right? I think the only people who have literally got the second dose on time, I would say, is the frontline workers. That is, people who were actively working in terms of medical related work. So rest of the people are bearing a lot of implications. They are seeing a lot of consequences. Even people who are above 60 years of age, they are not being able to get their second dose. They are late for their second dose, which is a grave implication. Grave, another word for dangerous or something that is grave. Grave വേറെ ഒരു meaning ഉണ്ടല്ലോ ഇംഗ്ലീഷിൽ. Grave. Does anyone know that? I had gone to my mother's grave. What is that? Grave. Grave also means നമ്മളെ ഈ മരിച്ചു കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് where we go ഈ ആൾക്കാരെ അടക്കി ഇട്ടേക്കുന്ന സ്ഥലം, you know, where you have that kurish and all put, it will be written
Cemetery, tomb.
അതന്നെ അതിനെ വിളിക്കുന്ന വേറെ ഒരു പേരാണ് ഈ grave. But remember, this that I have drawn here is the noun form. It's a thing. It's something that you're calling that setup. Okay, I had gone to my father's grave in Delhi when I visited. Okay, I really said that as an example. My father is no more, so grave is kallara basically. Okay, that is the noun form. Ma'am, ivide endha upayogiche? Grave implication. I have used the adjective form. Grave, bhayangaramaittulladu, dangerous. Something that is not that great is grave implication, grave consequences. Both the spellings are same, but I have used different forms in different scenarios. Okay, this is what English is all about. English is something that, guys, unless you use it, എന്നോട് ഒത്തിരി പിള്ളേർ ചോദിക്കും, മാം ഞാൻ ക്ലാസ്സിലിരുന്ന് ഗ്രാമർ എക്സസൈസസ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ എനിക്ക് ഇത്രയും മിസ്റ്റേക്സ് ഇല്ലല്ലോ, പക്ഷെ ഞാൻ ഈ സംസാരിക്കാൻ വരുമ്പം റൈറ്റിംഗ് ചെയ്യാൻ തുടങ്ങുമ്പോൾ ഭയങ്കര മിസ്റ്റേക്സ് ആണല്ലോ. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ബിക്കോസ് മോനെ റൈറ്റിംഗ് ചെയ്യാറില്ല, സംസാരം ഫുള്ള് മലയാളത്തിലാണ്. ഓക്കെ, രാവിലെ ഐ വുഡ് സേ ഒരു ലൈഫ് സ്റ്റൈൽ ചേഞ്ച് ഇല്ല. ഇടയ്ക്ക് നമ്മളിരുന്ന് ട്രോൾ വായിക്കുന്നത് എല്ലാം മലയാളമാണ്. ഒരു പടം പോലും മലയാളത്തിൽ കാണത്തില്ല, ഒരു സീരീസ് പോലും കാണത്തില്ല. യു ഹാവ് നോ അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡിങ് അവരെങ്ങനെയാണ്. മെനി പീപ്പിൾ സേ ഹൂ do not have much of an exposure to English language, they say that Englishil oru joke parnja manasilavilla. That is not correct. Okay, that is because you don't know how to express that in a funny way. There are people who know to do that very well. Now many people would see such shows and they'll be like, idil endu chirikkana. That is because mone ningalku manasilayilla അവർ എങ്ങനെയാണ് അത് പറയുന്നത്. ഓക്കെ, നമുക്ക് അങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു യൂസേജ് ഇല്ലാത്തത് കൊണ്ടാണ് നമുക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവാത്ത, നമുക്ക് ചിരി വരാത്തത്. Okay, but if you go in their culture, if you go to understand the way they express themselves, you guys will also slowly get a hang of it. Namakun chiri verum. All right, so remember, all these things I'm doing is just to give you an understanding of the language, just to make it more and more familiar. All right, I can see that you guys are also trying. That's why I said that predominantly ഇങ്ങനെയൊക്കെ ഉപയോഗിക്കണം, അപ്പോഴേ നമുക്ക് ഇത് പിടികിട്ടത്തുള്ളൂ. Okay, so look at this one. The next one, imposed. Imposed. The meaning is already there in these three options. Check it out.
Forced somebody to do.
Yes. To impose means to force someone to do something. The police has imposed that nobody should get out from their homes on Saturdays and Sundays. It's a complete, the government has imposed a lockdown, has forced a lockdown. Ellarodum choichitano lockdown cheyidekkunne alla, has imposed. Palarkum, ipam people like me, I'm so trust me guys, you know, even if Wednesday is your off, you would be thinking mamum sarum oyo 12 manikku arikku ennekkunne enne ponnu pillare. I have got millions of mocks that day. We are sitting in the morning until evening. We both are sitting and doing these reviews. There's so much work that you guys will also send us eventually. So imposed is something that is forcing someone to do something. Okay, let's say okay, the school has imposed a fine on students who come late for the assembly. പിള്ളേരോടൊക്കെ ചോദിച്ചിട്ടാണോ ഫൈൻ ഫൈൻ ഡിസൈഡ് ചെയ്തേക്കുന്നത്? അല്ല, പിള്ളേർക്ക് കുറച്ച് ബുദ്ധിമുട്ട് വരാൻ വേണ്ടി തന്നെയാണ് ആ ഫൈൻ ഇമ്പോസ് ചെയ്തേക്കുന്നത്. അത് ഫോഴ്സ് ആണ് ചെയ്തേക്കുന്നത്. നിങ്ങൾക്ക് വേണമെങ്കിൽ അടയ്ക്കാം, അങ്ങനെയല്ല, അടച്ചേ പറ്റൂ. അത് ഇഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടാലും ഇഷ്ടപ്പെട്ടില്ലെങ്കിലും അടച്ചേ പറ്റൂ. That is what impose means. I would like you guys to make a note of this word imposed. Include it in today's work. Okay, I would like to see a few sentences with this word imposed, imposing, imposes. You can use it in any way. Okay, you can use imposed as such. You can use imposing. The government is planning to impose a lockdown. The government has imposed a lockdown. The government is imposing a lockdown. ഏതെങ്കിലും form use ചെയ്യാം. Imposes, the principal imposes a fine as soon as he sees someone who is late to school. Imposes. Please note down this word so that you can make a few sentences out of them. Today's homework: impose, forcing somebody to do something. Okay. Next one, predict. What do you mean by predict? ഞങ്ങൾ ഒരു ജോത്സ്യന്റെ അടുത്ത് പോയായിരുന്നു, ഇയാള് പ്രെഡിക്റ്റ് ചെയ്തു. എന്താണ് ഇയാൾ ചെയ്തത്?
മുൻകൂട്ടി പറഞ്ഞു.
മുൻകൂട്ടി പറഞ്ഞു. വെരി ഗുഡ്, താങ്ക് യു യാർ. ഹെൽപ് മീ ഔട്ട് ലൈക്ക് ദിസ്. മുൻകൂട്ടി പറയാ. ഓക്കെ, ഐ ആം പ്രെഡിക്റ്റിംഗ് ദാറ്റ് യു ഓൾ വിൽ get into trouble if you go for that trip. Predict. മുൻകൂട്ടി പറയാണ്. നിങ്ങൾ ഇറങ്ങുന്നേക്കാളും മുന്നേ മുൻകൂട്ടി ഞാൻ പറയാണ് that നിങ്ങൾ ഈ ട്രിപ്പിന് പോയി കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നിങ്ങൾക്കൊക്കെ പണി കിട്ടും. Predicting. Do we have a word that is the meaning of predicting here out of the two options left? No. Experiencing pressure related, no. What is the next one? 9. Stressed. ഇത് ഞാൻ പറയേണ്ട ആവശ്യമില്ല, എല്ലാവർക്കും അറിയാം. Ramya, are you feeling stressed today with these exercises?
No, ma'am.
No, great. So look at the three options and tell me, what do you mean by the word stressed?
Experiencing pressure.
Yes, absolutely correct. Experiencing pressure. Occupational. What do you mean by the word occupation? Basically something that you do. So what is your occupation? I am a service engineer. What is Neetu's occupation? She is a medical professional. What is let's say Mebin's occupation? Well, I am just a student. I have not started working any as of now. Sorry. Occupation, something that you do. എന്തെങ്കിലും അതിന്റെ മീനിങ് ആയിട്ട് എന്തെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടോ ഇവിടെ related to one particular country? Is it? No. No. Let's look at the next one. Granted. That's a simple word. Ma'am has granted us leave on Sundays and Wednesdays. Granted. Granted. Help me out. What do you mean by that? Granted.
അനുവദിച്ചു.
എന്തുടാ?
അനുവദിച്ചു.
Okay. I hope everyone else understood. ഞാൻ അത് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ എല്ലാം തെറ്റിപ്പോകും. So granted is something that you give without any condition. Okay. Domestic. Is it something related to this option? Is it domestic? Chalo, I'll give you a quick understanding. E word getitundavlo. GDP. The GDP of India has gone down. Pyara, you've heard this word GDP in newspapers?
Gross.
Gross domestic product. ഈ ഒരു വാല്യൂ വെച്ചിട്ടാണ് എക്കണോമിക് റിപ്പോർട്ടാണ് പോകുന്നത് നമുക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവുന്നത്. ഈ മോദിയുടെ ഭരണമൊക്കെ ആയിട്ട് for the past 7 years our GDP went down initially, then it went to a minus figure. Now it is in a minus double digit, minus 23%. That's where we are. Okay. What do you mean by this? D, gross domestic product. Domestic is something that basically relates to a particular country or a macro level or a experience la nammal nokkuvaanengil it relates to a particular country. Namukku vera oru reethiyilum parayam. You guys would have heard this word domestic violence. Domestic violence. Have you guys heard this word domestic violence? Domestic violence. Domestic violence is a word that is used when, especially when, let's say, someone is not treated well inside a house. Okay, inside a particular home. Okay, domestic violence usually in North India. Okay, domestic violence. Okay, cases under. Why? Because ആണുങ്ങൾ രാത്രിയിൽ ഫസ്റ്റ്ലി ഇല്ലിറ്ററേറ്റ്സ് ആണ്. സോ അവർ രാത്രിയിൽ ലെറ്റ്സ് സേ കള്ളും കുടിച്ച് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ they will be high on drugs and they will come and commit physical abuses towards their children, towards their wives, towards their mothers also, sometimes parents as such. All that is called domestic violence, something that is happening inside your home. ഒരു എക്സാമ്പിളും കൂടെ മാം പറയാം. Dogs, cats are domestic animals. ഇതെല്ലാവർക്കും അറിയാലോ. Domestic animals. Why do we call them domestic animals? നമുക്ക് വീട്ടിൽ വളർത്താൻ പറ്റുന്ന animals ആണ്. Okay, so domestic is always something that is relating to, let's say, like I said, ഒരു വലിയ ലെവലിൽ നോക്കിക്കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഒരു particular country. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് മാം ഈ GDP യുടെ എക്സാമ്പിൾ തന്നെ. ഗ്രോസ് ഡൊമസ്റ്റിക് പ്രൊഡക്റ്റ്, ഒരു കൺട്രിയുടെ എക്കണോമിക് വാല്യൂ മനസ്സിലാക്കണമെങ്കിൽ GDP നോക്കണം. Okay, next one that I told you, domestic violence is, let's say I'm saying my friend Chitra was a victim of domestic violence. She was not treated well among her in-laws. What am I saying? അവള് കല്യാണം കഴിച്ചു ആ വീട്ടിലോട്ട് വിട്ടപ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് അവളുടെ let's say father-in-law, mother-in-law അവളെ അടിക്കും, ഭർത്താവ് നന്നായിട്ട് ട്രീറ്റ് ചെയ്യത്തില്ല. All those things. Maybe it could be, see, remember guys, domestic violence can be mental also, can be physical also. Okay, when I say mental, നമ്മളിങ്ങനെ വെറുതെ ഒരാളെ ഭയങ്കരമായിട്ട് വിഷമിപ്പിക്കുന്ന വർത്തമാനം പറയാ, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ തെറി വിളിക്കുക, all that is mental violence. Okay, physical violence is of course when you are beating up a person or തള്ളുക, ഇടിക്കുക, all that is physical violence, right? So all that comes under domestic violence. അല്ലാതെ അടിപിടി മാത്രമല്ല domestic violence, it can be mental also. ഒരാള് let's say for example, Remya is my wife. So ഞാൻ അവളെ അടിക്കത്ത് പിടിക്കത്തൊന്നുമില്ല, but I mentally stress her out a lot. So she is like, every day she is feeling very, let's say, she feels not at all happy. She is completely depressed, and she is feeling a lot of mental stress. That can also come under domestic violence. Okay, so I've given you an understanding of this word domestic in 3 ways. Country, that is at a larger perspective; home, smaller perspective; and I also said dog is dog, cats, hens, such animals are domestic animals. Cows, buffaloes, we can domesticate them. നമുക്ക് വീട്ടിൽ വെച്ച് വളർത്താം. So domestic is something that is relating to a particular country, a particular community, a particular house, home. Okay, so I hope this is understood. Look at the sublist. All these words are there in sublist 4. Access. What do you mean by this word access? Access. ഇപ്പം ഞാൻ ചോദിക്കാണ്, നീതുന് ആക്സസ് ഉണ്ടോ ICU-ലോട്ട് കയറാൻ?
ഞാൻ നേഴ്സ് അല്ല.
What do you work there as? പറഞ്ഞിടാ.
ഞാൻ റിസർച്ച് അസോസിയേറ്റ് ആയിട്ടാണ്.
Research associate ആണ്, but you're into the medical field as such.
നഴ്സിംഗ് കഴിഞ്ഞതാണ്, BSc നഴ്സിംഗ്
കഴിഞ്ഞതാണ്, but clinical experience ആയിട്ടല്ല, റിസർച്ചിലാണ്.
അല്ല, പിന്നെ ഹോസ്പിറ്റൽ അഡ്മിനിസ്ട്രേഷൻ.
Okay, so let me ask you, do you have access to go to different, let's say the ICU and different? So what will you say? No ma'am, I don't have an access. Access എന്താണ്? A permission to enter, correct?
Yes ma'am.
Okay, so such words are there in this sublist. കുറച്ചും കൂടെ you guys can see that the level of the words are coming up. Okay, some of the words are very very easy, approximate, and all of you knows. Attitude, civil, ഞാനിപ്പോൾ മനസ്സിലാക്കി. Civil കൂട്ടി എന്ത് വേർഡ് ആണെങ്കിലും പിള്ളേരെ ഓർത്തോണം, it relates to common people like you and me. Okay, പട്ടാളക്കാർ സിവിൽ ആണോ? സിവിലിയൻസ് ആണോ? No. Okay, പോലീസുകാർ ഇവിടെ ആരെങ്കിലും ഉണ്ടോ? People who is there anyone who has someone at home who is into police services, law and order? Here, do we have anyone? Family, relative, someone in the family who is in the police? No, I think. Okay, so we usually say that the police is supposed to take care of the civil law and order. Civil law and order is law and order relating to the public, common people. So civil kuti endengil word undengil orthon eppozhum it actually connects to the common people. Implications, I have given you this understanding. Okay, impose, ഞാൻ ഒരു വേർഡ് ആയിട്ടാണ് തന്നേക്കുന്നത്, നിങ്ങൾ സെന്റൻസസ് ഉണ്ടാക്കണം, ട്രൈ ചെയ്യണം എന്ന്. Okay, going forward, look at these words: commitment, integration, regime, resolution. Can anyone give me a sentence with this word resolution? We commonly use it on January 1st.
My New Year resolution is to work out from today.
Very good. My New Year resolution. So, what is a resolution? Something that we have decided to do. That's a resolution. ഒരു കാര്യം ചെയ്ത് എടുക്കണം എന്നുള്ള ഒരു ബോധം വരുന്ന ഒരു സംഭവത്തിനാണ് ഈ റെസൊല്യൂഷൻ എന്ന് വിളിക്കുന്നത്. So great. Conference we have already discussed. Okay, give me a sentence with this word investigation. Investigation. Sarita case, what was the police doing? They were running an investigation. Can anyone else give me a sentence with this word? Investigation, investigate, investigated, investigating. ഏതെങ്കിലും രീതിയിൽ എടുക്കാം. Anyone? Try it out. Pyara bol beta. You guys are good. Anjana and Pyara and all are at least good. So that's why I don't you guys. Ramya, speak up. Investigation, investigate. What can you guys say? Just a simple sentence here.
CBI force are doing that great work in investigating recent works.
Okay, great. Okay, let's say school ഒരു കൊച്ച് ഫോൺ കൊണ്ടുപോയി. How will we say that the teachers are തപ്പി എടുക്കുവാണ് ആരാണ് ആ കുട്ടി? ഫോൺ കിട്ടിയിട്ടുണ്ട് പക്ഷെ ആരുടെ ഫോണാണെന്ന് അറിയത്തില്ല. So how do we say that? The teachers are still investigating whose phone is that. Investigate. Okay, കണ്ടുപിടിക്കുക. All right, that is investigate. Good one. Okay, let's go forward. Mechanism I told you. Okay, what do you mean by this word label? Label. ഈ തുണികളൊക്കെ മേടിക്കുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് തുണിയുടെ ബാക്കിൽ ഒരു ലേബൽ ഉണ്ട്. എല്ലാവരും കണ്ടിട്ടുണ്ടല്ലോ ലേബൽ? യെസ്, നോ?
Yes.
One person has seen, I'm sure. Mebin, labels ഉണ്ടോടാ? ഈ ജീൻസ് ഒക്കെ മേടിക്കുമ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് ലേബിൾസ് ഉണ്ടോ അതില്?
ഇഷ്ടം പോലെ ഉണ്ട്.
എന്താ
ഉണ്ട്.
Levi's, Lee, Wrangler, അതൊക്കെ ലേബൽ അല്ലേ? Yes. Okay, fine. Okay, let's go ahead. Occupational I have done. Okay, summary all of you guys know. Okay, so I have just generally I'm discussing these words so that you guys should know that. Acha, one very a typical word here, regime. What do you mean by the word regime? Basically, an everyday routine is a regime. Okay, something that you do every day. So I am into an exercising regime nowadays. Regime, exercising routine. So if someone is saying regime instead of routine, that's a good one. That's a good word, a good usage. All right. Okay. I think I'll go on to sublist 5. Can I? Yes, no? Yes?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Acha, pillare idu arkengla avashyam undengil, like ma'am said, just let me know. Okay, so that you guys are aware of what you have to do. Where is sublist 5? One second. One second, please. 1, 2, 3, 4. I didn't download it or what? Yeah. Okay. Give me a tiny bit. Let me just download it. It's there on my other system. Give me 1 second. Before we do this, I'll also send you sublist 5. Give me a moment, please. You guys can. അപ്പോഴത്തേക്ക് നമുക്ക് ഇതൊന്ന് ചെയ്യാം എന്തായാലും. അച്ഛാ ഇതൊന്ന് ട്രൈ ചെയ്യണം. Antonyms. Flexible, inflexible, unflexible, dysflexible, inflexible. Is that the correct word? 1 second, Monet. 1 second. Ma'am will just get the sublist 5. Just give me a tiny bit. I'm just coming back. We'll just discuss this. I want all of you to check this out. Okay. Okay, I think that is correct. I have the sublist. Guys, 1 second. 1 second. Give me a tiny bit. Let me just put my WhatsApp here. I've got that there. Okay, let me just. I do have it here. 1 second. Even here, sublist is missing. Okay, so that means 1 second, please. Okay, so I've just asked sir to send me that through. Yes, yes, I've got it. I've got it. 1 second, guys. Let me just open that and let's do that first. I don't want to break your flow. Okay, so this is sublist file. Let me download it. Already exists. Yes. Okay. I don't want to open it here. Give me a tiny bit. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so we had started this. I'll just finish this one for you. So just like I think that was one of you guys who said inflexible. Yes, that is correct. It is, the first one is inflexible. Look at the next one, capable. One moon prefixes idam. Ningalonna manasiloന്നു പറഞ്ഞെല്ലാം നോക്കണം which one is the most appropriate. Capable, uncapable nu parayo, incapable nu parayo, other discapable nu parayo.
Incapable.
Incapable. Yes, absolutely correct. Capable becomes incapable. Incapable. Okay. Inhibited. Inhibited.
Uninhibited.
Yes. Yes, Nitu, that is correct. Uninhibited. Okay. Motivate.
എക്സിബിറ്റഡ് എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ വേറെ മീനിങ് ആണോ?
Harder. Harder. Exhibit is to display out. Okay. Inhibit is I have an inhibition. നമ്മുടെ ഉള്ളിൽ തോന്നുന്ന ഒരു ഉള്ളിൽ ഡിസ്പ്ലേ ആയിട്ട് വരുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യമാണ് ഈ ഇൻഹിബിഷൻ. ഓക്കെ, ചെയ്യാനുള്ള ഒരു മടിക്കൊക്കെയാണ് ഈ ഇൻഹിബിഷൻ എന്ന് പറയണേ. Like for example, I would say, let's say, I'm just giving an example. Anjana has an inhibition that she may not get the job. Inhibition. അവളുടെ മനസ്സിൽ ഇതൊക്കെ തോന്നുവാണ് അവൾക്ക്. Okay, inhibition. Okay, inhibited is that. So exhibition, yes, is ulta, just the ulta. When you display it out, is exhibited, unexhibited. അവിടെയും antonym വരുന്നത് prefix വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ un തന്നെയാണ് അവിടെയും വരുന്നത്. So let's look at the next one. Motivate. Ariva, I've got one more to give you an example here.
Unmotivated.
Demotivated, yes. Dismotivated എന്നുണ്ടോ ഇല്ല. Okay. Demotivated. Okay. This one. This one. It's not there in this list.
Irrational.
Very good. Irrational. IR. IRRA. ഇങ്ങനെ വരും. Okay. Irrational. Okay. Subsidized. Subsidized. In India, we get diesel at a subsidized rate because it's an industrial fuel. And now, which one do you think out of these can you set here? Unsubsidized. Very good. Unsubsidized. Okay, petrol is an unsubsidized fuel. It's very expensive in our country. Traceable. Traceable എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ സംതിങ് ട്രേസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നത്. The calls are traceable എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ കോൾസ് ട്രേസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും. ഇപ്പം ലെറ്റ്സ് സേ മെബിൻ ആൻഡ് ഐ വി ആർ രണ്ട് കള്ളന്മാരാണ് ഞങ്ങള് പരസ്പരം സംസാരിക്കുന്ന മൊത്തം പോലീസ് മൊത്തം ട്രേസ് ചെയ്തു, കണ്ടുപിടിച്ചു, അവരെ ഫുള്ള് ഡീറ്റെയിൽസ് അറിയാം അവർക്ക്. സോ ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ട്രേസബിൾ. ട്രേസബിൾ ഇൻഫർമേഷൻ. വാട്ട് ഈസ് ദി ഓപ്പോസിറ്റ് ഓഫ് ട്രേസബിൾ?
Untraceable.
Untraceable, intraceable. Untraceable or intraceable? Just try and just try it.
It's untraceable.
Untraceable, yes. There is a movie also. Okay, untraceable. Yes, it is un. Okay, great. So let me just not go further. We'll just finish sublist 5. Okay. Collocations. Collocations എന്താണ് പിള്ളേരെ ഇംഗ്ലീഷിൽ, or I would say in writing and speaking. This is very important. Like I said, vocabulary നമ്മൾ പുതിയ വേർഡ്സ് പഠിച്ചിട്ട് അതിൻ്റെ ഒരു കോമ്പിനേഷൻ ഒക്കെ ഉണ്ടാക്കാൻ നോക്കും. ഡോണ്ട് ഡു ദാറ്റ്. ചില വേർഡ്സിന് ആ എക്സിസ്റ്റിംഗ് കോമ്പിനേഷൻസേ പറ്റത്തുള്ളൂ. അങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞാലേ ആൾക്കാർക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവത്തുള്ളൂ. ഫോർ എക്സാമ്പിൾ ഐ സെഡ് പ്രയർ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ്. ഓക്കെ, അതിനകത്ത് യു ഡോണ്ട് ഹാവ് ടു ടച്ച് ദാറ്റ് വേർഡ്. ഇനി എക്സ്പീരിയൻസിന്റെ സിനോണിം നോക്കിയിട്ട് ഓക്കെ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് വി ക്യാൻ സേ സംതിങ് ലൈക്ക് prior experience. Let's say I'll give you an example here. For example, there are people who do this. Let's say they'll go to Google, they'll put this word experience and synonym. Synonym means parayavakam, words that mean the same. So experience is, let's say experience encountering an experience that I had, an adventure. E word vechitallengil, let's say occurrence which if you use the person has said that you don't need any prior occurrence. Don't do that. Prior experience is a collocation. അത് അങ്ങനെ തന്നെ യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു വേർഡാണ് ഇംഗ്ലീഷിൽ. അത് വെറുതെ നമ്മൾ ഒരു വേർഡ് സിനോണിം ആയിട്ട് തപ്പിയിട്ട് അത് പുതിയൊരു വൊക്കാബുലറി ആയിട്ട് അത് അങ്ങനെ പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ആൾക്കാർക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവത്തില്ല. ഓക്കെ, ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് എ ട്രിക്ക് ഇൻ ഇംഗ്ലീഷ്. റിമെമ്പർ, ഇറ്റ്സ് കോൾഡ് കൊലൊക്കേഷൻസ്. എത്ര കൂടുതൽ നിങ്ങൾ കൊലൊക്കേഷൻസ് പ്രാക്ടീസ് ചെയ്യണോ നിങ്ങളുടെ ലാംഗ്വേജ് ഇംപ്രൂവ് ആവും. Okay, you will actually learn combinations of words which have to be said just like that. So look at the first one. Once we make adjustments to, for, of inflation, the fall in interest rates is quite small. Once we make adjustments
To inflammation.
I know many of you. Chalo, let me say, people who understand English, off endalum varthilla, off inflation ivide varthilla. Okay, it is not something that is adjustment does not belong to inflation, so off is out. Okay, There are two more options: adjustments to, adjustments for. Okay. Now here in this case, for is the correct option. Let me just give 1 second. Let me just quickly check that as well. Yes, it is for. Like I said, the correct option is for. Once we make adjustments for inflation, ഇവിടെ മോനെ ഇൻഫ്ലേഷന് വേണ്ടി തക്കമായിട്ടുള്ള adjustments ഉണ്ടാക്കിയാൽ the fall in interest rates is quite small. Once we make adjustments for inflation, the fall in interest rates is quite small. The thing is, this is a very, I would say, a very technical sentence where this word inflation is used. So that's why you would have gotten a little confused. But yes.
Inflation means?
How many? Hada?
Inflation meaning?
Inflation meaning is, for example, Areva. Inflation is something wherein the supply is less. Supply is less. For example, Savalade example എടുക്കാവേ നമുക്ക്. സവാള നാട്ടിൽ എത്തുന്നില്ല. അപ്പോൾ എന്തുണ്ടാവും? Prices കൂടുവോ prices കുറയുവോ?
Kudu.
That process is called inflation. Okay, supply is less, demand കണ്ടമാനം ഉണ്ട്. ആൾക്കാർ 5 കിലോ സവാളയാണ് മിനിമം മേടിക്കുന്നത്. ബട്ട് തമിഴ്നാട്ടിൽ നിന്ന് ഇവിടെ എത്തുന്നുണ്ടോടാ? ഇല്ല. The demand is there, but the supply is low. That's when we get into something called as inflation. Okay, inflation is actually something like a process where, just like ma'am said, the demand is very high and the supply is very, very low. Vaccination, the same thing. Demand is so high. Everywhere people are looking forward to get vaccinated. വെളിയിലെ കൺട്രീസിലൊക്കെ ആണെങ്കിൽ പിള്ളേർക്ക് വരെ വാക്സിനേഷൻ എടുത്തു കഴിഞ്ഞു, രണ്ട് ഷോട്ട്. ഇവിടെ ആണെങ്കിൽ പിള്ളേരുടെ വാക്സിനേഷൻ ഇതുവരെ തുടങ്ങിയിട്ട് പോലും ഇല്ല. എന്നാൽ തേർഡ് വേവ് വന്നു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ they are all fearing that in India children will get into dire consequences. So please understand, inflation is, so what can we say? There is an inflation in with regard to vaccines. What do you mean by inflation? Demand is a lot, but the supply is very low. Inflation is that. അതിന് ഇങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു സാഹചര്യത്തിന് വിളിക്കുന്ന വേർഡാണ് ഈ ഇൻഫ്ലേഷൻ. ഓക്കെ, ഇവിടെ മാത്രം പിള്ളേരെ the word, ഇതൊരു പ്രോസസ് ആയതുകൊണ്ട് we will use for. But remember, I think that was Pyara or Anjana, one of you guys said this word, adjustments to. For example, or let's say or a music video, അല്ലെങ്കിൽ you guys have a car. Okay, നമ്മൾ കുറച്ച് adjustments ഒക്കെ ചെയ്യും അതിന്. അതിലൊക്കെ you will use the simple word, I have made some adjustments to the car. I have made എങ്ങനത്തെ adjustments ആണ് ഇവിടെ? മെബിൻ ഉണ്ട്. മെബിൻ would be like a little more familiar. അതിന്റെ സ്ലോ സ്പീഡ് കുറച്ചാൽ നമുക്ക് കുറച്ചും കൂടെ പെർഫോമൻസ് കിട്ടും, പക്ഷെ മൈലേജ് കുറയും. In that case, how will we say? We have made some adjustments to the bike. To the bike. For the bike അല്ല, to the bike. But ഇവിടെ ഈ കേസിൽ മാത്രം, because it's a very inflation is actually a process, not just a thing, we will say for. So I'm just allowing this thing here. Let's look at the next one. ഇതൊക്കെ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് അറിഞ്ഞിരിക്കണം. Many developing countries are making transition. Transition is ഒരു shift. Okay, shift is what transition means. അവരുടെ അവസ്ഥയിൽ നിന്ന് ഒന്ന് മാറ്റി പിടിക്കുന്നത്, that is what transition is. അല്ലെങ്കിൽ something, but transition is very usually a positive word. Okay, making the transition dash a market economy. ഒരവസ്ഥയിൽ നിന്ന് ആണ് അടുത്തതിലോട്ട് പോകുന്നത്. So what will you put there?
From?
The transition already is from a point.
Towards.
You are towards, yes. Many developing countries are making the transition. Transition വരുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ ഒരവസ്ഥയിൽ നിന്ന് നമ്മൾ മുന്നോട്ട് സഞ്ചരിച്ചു തുടങ്ങിയിടാം. So we will say transition towards market economy. ഇതുവരെ എന്തായിരുന്നു? It was all about the public economy, that is government sectorലുള്ളവർക്കായിരുന്നു ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ rewards and this. Is it like that now? No. Government sectorൽ ഇപ്പം ജോലിയൊക്കെ പോകും, ഒരു കംപ്ലൈന്റ് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ജോലിയൊക്കെ പോകും. If you are a person who is not doing the work properly, even in government sector, you are not, the job security is not like before, right? Many young people nowadays, if they don't get through PSC and all, they don't mind working in private companies because they are getting the same pay and maybe better opportunities as well. So transition വാക്കിൽ ഓൾറെഡി ഇങ്ങനെ ഒരു അവസ്ഥയിൽ നിന്നുള്ള മൂവ്മെന്റ് തുടങ്ങി, അതിനാണ് ഈ ട്രാൻസിഷൻ എന്ന് വിളിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ ഫ്രം വരത്തില്ലടാ, ട്രാൻസിഷൻ എപ്പോഴും ട്രാൻസിഷൻ ടുവേർഡ്സ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ടു ഓപ്ഷനിലില്ല. ബട്ട് ഇഫ് ദർ വാസ് യു കുഡ് യൂസ് ടു ഓൾസോ. സോ ദിസ് ഈസ് ദ കറക്റ്റ് ഓപ്ഷൻ ഫോർ the second one. Next, like the traditional notion means idea. Another word for notion is idea. The traditional idea dash marriage goes back thousands of years. Now this is a simple one. The traditional idea of marriage. Yes, the traditional idea of marriage. The traditional people who want to use a different word for idea, make a note of it. You can always use this word notion. She comes up with new notions every day. Let's look at option D. A child's capacity dash love is without limit.
For love.
For love, yes. A child's capacity for love is without limit. Okay, guys, if you like these sentences, these are things that we use in our everyday life. If you want to, take a note of it, pictures ഒക്കെ എടുക്കണമെങ്കിൽ അതൊക്കെ ചെയ്യണം കേട്ടോ. നോട്ട്സ് ഹാൻഡി വെച്ചില്ലെങ്കിൽ ഈ vocabulary exercise മറന്നു പോകും. That's why I'm telling you the answer is for a child's capacity for love is without limit. ഈ സെന്റൻസിൽ മാം ഒരു ചേഞ്ചും കൂടെ കൊണ്ടുവരാം. Okay. The mother's capacity for love towards her child is without limit. ഇതും ശരിയാണല്ലോ. Any mother, any child, the mother's capacity for love towards her child is without limit. From this sentence, I have given you just an understanding of another sentence. This is what I'm trying to say. Okay, you guys can create sentences for your own understanding through this particular exercise that we are doing. So keep that in mind. Okay, let's go to option E. His father's death gave him a new perspective. ഒരു പുതിയ കാഴ്ചപ്പാട്. Dash life.
To life.
The answer is on. Let me quickly check it out. On life, yes. The answer is on, but yes. Usually, I have note cheyidonam. Usually, Indianized English. Usually, people have a habit of using perspective to. Perspective to. You can use perspective on also. That is കുറച്ചും കൂടെ English ആയിട്ട് language ആയിട്ട് relate ചെയ്തു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ കുറച്ചും കൂടെ correct ആണ്. Perspective on. She's given me a new perspective on biology. My teacher has given me a new perspective on biology. To is just like I said, towards. Biology, towards പുതിയ perspective. അതിനേക്കാളും നല്ല usage ഏതാടാ? English, I would say. You guys would have heard people also saying this, perspective to. ഓർത്തോണം, informal language ലൊക്കെ നമുക്ക് അങ്ങനെ തട്ടാം. But if you ask me, ma'am, correct endana, I would say the correct answer is on. Make a note of it. If you guys are, writing it down, you can make a note of it. Perspective on life. Let's say I'm talking to Piara and she is like, talking about marriage and, the kind of a relationship um, changes and how we have to accept, new people into our family. So after all that, let's say she goes back home and she's talking to her husband. She would say that, talking to Angel today, I got a new perspective on married life. That's a better way of saying than to. To is something, like I said, Indianized ആണ്. Correct form ആണെന്നല്ല ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞ Indians കൂടുതലായിട്ട് യൂസ് ചെയ്യുന്ന perspective to ആണ്. Language, English language, the aspect should be perspective on. I hope you guys have noted it. Yes, no?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Let's go on to the next one. The visit to Germany gave them exposure dash language. Exposure ആണ് തന്നേക്കുന്നത്. At the language വരത്തില്ല, അത് തെറ്റാണ്. People who are thinking at, so I've now given you 50-50 option. Exposure in language, exposure to the language. Visit ആണ്. Any option? Say something. Two. Yes. Okay, two is correct. Okay. The visit to Germany. Okay. Now, yani visit on the martyr, I would say the study she did in Germany. I'm so sorry. She vertilla they alla. So just follow this. The study they did in Germany. After that, go back here. Gave them exposure. ഇനിയും പഠനമാണ് അവർ ചെയ്തേക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പം നമ്മൾ എന്ത് യൂസ് ചെയ്യും? In the language. In കുറച്ചും കൂടെ ആഴമായിട്ട് പോകുന്ന ഒരു വേർഡാണ് in. I am going in. I'm going in എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഞാൻ അകത്തോട്ട് കയറുവാണ് കേട്ടോ. I'm going to means she would be standing out also. She may be going at the terrace. She is going there. That's all you know. But in is little more deeper. Nitu, I hope you got an understanding. On the yes, no, on the paranam. Ramya?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. So visit. Ipam ഒരു trip ആയിട്ട് ഞാനും നീത്തും പോവാണെങ്കിൽ I'll be like the visit to Germany gave us an exposure to the language. അല്ലെ ആഴമായിട്ടൊന്നും അല്ല, പക്ഷെ ഒരു എക്സ്പോജർ കിട്ടി അവരുടെ ലാംഗ്വേജ് ഒക്കെ ആയിട്ട്. ബട്ട് ഞാനും നീത്തും പഠനത്തിന് വേണ്ടി പോവാ. We both are going there for study. How will I say? In this case, the study we did in Germany gave us an exposure in the language. അവിടെ ജീവിച്ചല്ലോ, അവിടെ പഠിച്ചല്ലോ. സോ കുറച്ചും കൂടെ ആഴമായിട്ടാണല്ലോ പോയത്. In that case, you can use in. I hope I'm clear. Anjana? Piara?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Okay now. Can I go to the next one? Number 2. Choose the correct part of the speech to complete the following sentences. You may, chance on down, have to add an affix. Okay. Affix is something in the front or at the back. So, I was dash that I had to pay a fee because you didn't tell me.
Unaware.
Unaware. Chalo, the first one is done and we had to put a affix. Affix nu parnju kayal namukku prefix um vekkam. Pre is before the word. Okay, another word I'm giving you here is suffix. Suffix is after the word. So in this case we had to put a prefix. So unaware akana adu. Okay. I was unaware, എനിക്ക് അറിയത്തേ ഇല്ലായിരുന്നു. Okay, that I had to pay a fee. Now many people will be like, ma'am, unaware എന്നൊന്നും എനിക്ക് വരത്തില്ല മാം, ഞാൻ I didn't know എന്നാണ് പറയുന്നത്. അങ്ങനെ I didn't know എന്നൊക്കെ പറയാൻ, if you are absolutely correct with your tense, then it is correct. I didn't know. If you are saying I didn't knew and all, that is wrong. Rather than that, improve your vocabulary, you will have better words to talk. I was unaware that I had to pay a fine because you didn't tell me. Look at the next one. We engaged the services of an international
consulting firm.
Consulting, ma'am പറഞ്ഞല്ലേടാ, verb അല്ലേടാ, ing.
Okay.
Consultancy.
Consultant.
കൺസൾട്ടൻസി ഫേം എന്ന് പറയാം. കൺസൾട്ടൻസി ഒരു ഫേമിനെ വിളിക്കുന്ന പേരാണല്ലോ. ഒരു ചലോ ഐ ഗിവ് യു ആൻ ഐഡിയ. ഇവിടെ തന്നെയാണ് സഫിക്സ് ആണ് വരണ്ടേ. വേറെ ഒരു സഫിക്സ് ആണല്ലോ കൂട്ടാ വരണ്ടേ. ഇന്റർനാഷണൽ
കൺസൾട്ടന്റ്. അതുമല്ല, അതുമാണോ?
We engaged the services of an international consultation firm. എങ്ങനത്തെ ഫോം ആണ്? കൺസൾട്ടേഷൻ ചെയ്യുന്നത്. Okay, let me just quickly check it out as well. Consultancy, I'm so sorry. Consultation nahi hai, consultancy hai. I had a doubt, that's why I checked it out. So you guys are right. I'm so sorry. Now you guys would be like, is it a grave mistake? Again, it is a somewhere a vocabulary oriented word. So I will also go with the, see, remember guys, we are preparing for IELTS, so I will also go with the answer key that has been given. Consultancy firm is something that you can use. I predominantly don't use it like that. I usually use consultancy independently. So today I have also got another book here. We engaged the services of an international consultancy firm. This ഒന്ന് ചേഞ്ച് ചെയ്തോളെ, നോട്ട് എഴുതുന്നവര്. കൺസൾട്ടൻസി ആണ്, കൺസൾട്ടേഷൻ അല്ല. That's my mistake. Look at the next one. The awards are given at the discrete. ഇതിന്റെ വേറൊരു ഫോം ആണ് യൂസ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്. If you ask me, discrete ന്റെ meaning എല്ലാവർക്കും അറിയാമോ? Discrete, I'm not. So, discrete actually means something that is distinct, something that is, you know, let's say put apart or separated. That is what separate എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ എടുക്ക് നിങ്ങൾ. Okay, discrete means separate. So the awards are given at the
Discretion
of the good. The word here is taken the form of discretion. That's what the answer is. But if you look at the meaning of the word discretion basically means something like a choice. Okay, എങ്ങനത്തെ choice? A separate choice. Okay, president തന്നെ ചെയ്ത ഒരു ചോയ്സ്, അതായിരിക്കും ഡിസ്ക്രീഷൻ. വേറെ ആരെങ്കിലും ഇതിനകത്ത് ഇൻവോൾവ് ആയിരുന്നോ? അല്ല. It is something that is an individual choice of the president. So discrete basically means separate. Discretion means a separate choice or a choice. That's what I would say. So please make a note of it, just like I have told you. Okay, look at the next one. The findings of the report are
Fundamentally wrong.
very good, are fundamentally wrong. ഈ fundamentally, let me ask you, ഏത് ഫോം ആണ്? adjective ആണോ അതോ adverb ആണോ? I think I told you a difference. adverbല് മാം ഒരു ചെറിയൊരു ഹിന്റ് തന്നായിരുന്നു, ലാസ്റ്റില് ly വരും. So what do you think this word is? It's an adverb. Absolutely correct. Okay, right wrongs are basically verbs. All right, so verbs in this case, right wrong in some other cases can be nouns also. I'm not getting in there because these are things ഇപ്പം നിങ്ങളോട് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ നിങ്ങൾക്കൊക്കെ ഉറക്കം വരും. Okay, these are things which to be very frank I usually tell people, ഈ പ്രായത്തിൽ ഇങ്ങനെ എക്സസൈസസ് ചെയ്താലേ ഇത് പഠിക്കത്തുള്ളൂ. പഠിക്കേണ്ട പ്രായം കഴിഞ്ഞു പിള്ളേരെ. You had to do this in class 5 and 6 and ask your teachers doubts. There people have not done it, but here as an adult this is the only way you can learn this. Fundamentally wrong. Mune oru minute, I think that should be Geetu. Okay, look at the next one. It is dash to think that you can do the work of 3 people. ഈ സെന്റൻസ് ചലോ ഫസ്റ്റ് തിങ്, ഈ സെന്റൻസ് ഒരു പോസിറ്റീവ് രീതിയിലാണോ പറഞ്ഞേക്കുന്നത് ഒരു അതോ ഒരു നെഗറ്റീവ് രീതിയിലാണോ പറഞ്ഞേക്കുന്നത്?
Negative.
Negative, yes. It's not a positive sentence, okay? Okay, so what will you put? Logic-ന്റെ ഏത് ഫോം ആയിരിക്കും ഇവിടെ വരുന്നത്? നെഗറ്റീവ് ഫോം.
It is unlogic.
It is illogical. Very good. Illogical. Ayyo. ठीक है? Illogical. It is illogical to think. Okay, logic ഉള്ള കാര്യമാണോ? അല്ല, തീരെ ലോജിക് ഇല്ലാത്ത ഒരു കാര്യമാണ്. How do we say that? Illogical. Let's say we don't have Ashwati today. I would have given through her exam. Okay. Mabin is another young person we have here. അവൻ്റെ കൂട്ടുകാരൊക്കെ അവനോട് പറഞ്ഞു ദാറ്റ് നീ ഒരു കാര്യം ചെയ്യുക, വീട്ടിൽ പൊതുവെ ഒരു മാസം എത്ര അരിയാണ് നിങ്ങൾ കൺസ്യൂം ചെയ്യുന്നത്. സോ ഹി ഗോസ് ബാക്ക് ഹോം ആൻഡ് ഹി ആസ്ക്സ് ഹിസ് മം ആൻഡ് ഹിസ് മദർ ടെൽസ് മീ ദാറ്റ് ഒരു മാസം നമുക്ക് വീട്ടിൽ അറ്റ്ലീസ്റ്റ് 20 കിലോ അരി വേണം. ഓക്കെ, ഫൈൻ. സോ ഹിസ് ഫ്രണ്ട് സേസ് ദാറ്റ് ഡ്യൂ ടു കോവിഡ് ഐ ഹാവ് ഹേർഡ് ദാറ്റ് ചിലപ്പോൾ നമുക്ക് ഇതിൻ്റെ ഒക്കെ ക്ഷാമം വരും. അപ്പോൾ ഒരു കാര്യം ചെയ്യും, നീ ഒരു 250 കിലോ മേടിച്ച് വീട്ടിൽ വെച്ചു. I would say that is illogical. Why? അരിക്ക് കേട് വന്നാലോ 250 കിലോ അതൊരു ചെയ്യുന്നേ ഒരു ലോജിക്കൽ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു സംഭവമാണോ? അത് അല്ല. So that is what illogical is all about. Let's say many things, I've got a 10-year-old son. Many things that he tells me sometimes are very illogical. Why? പ്രായത്തിന്റെ ചെറിയ കൊച്ചല്ലേ. So many things we also laugh out. കളിയാക്കുവാണോ ചെയ്യണേ? അല്ല. Very small kids, right? But if Anjana tells me something that is very, impractical, something very stupid, Anjana, will I laugh on it or will I call you illogical? Illogical. പ്രായവും ബുദ്ധിയും പക്വതയുള്ള ഒരാള് ഒരുമാതിരി ഇംപ്രാക്ടിക്കൽ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു കാര്യം പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ what do we call illogical? ചെറിയ പിള്ളേരൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ചലോ നമുക്ക് of course ഒരു ലോജിക് ഒക്കെ ഡെവലപ്പ് ചെയ്യുന്നത് കൊണ്ട് we can say that okay, it's okay. ഒരു കളിയായിട്ട് എടുക്കാം. But if Anjana says it at her age, she is I would say she's an educated, well-educated person. She has a very good experience. She's got a very good exposure. Her family members are supportive. If she is saying something like this or something stupid, what will we say? Why are you being so illogical? Korchukke logic okke ubhayogike. Why? Because of her experience in life, we'll call her like that. Okay, I hope this word illogical is clear. Let's go on to the next one. F. How can we get students to adopt a more serious dash towards learning? The word is orient. Orientation. Yes. Okay, the word is orientation. Orientation meaning ellarkum ariyamnadano. To basically orient someone. What do you mean by orienting someone?
Giving an introduction about something that was.
Yes. To give an understanding, to direct someone, right? To guide someone to an understanding. Okay, that is orient, and the word here is orientation. ഇതൊക്കെ കോളേജിലൊക്കെ സ്കൂളിലൊക്കെ നമുക്ക് ഇങ്ങനത്തെ പ്രോഗ്രാംസ് ഒക്കെ നടക്കും. ഓറിയന്റേഷൻ പ്രോഗ്രാം ആണ് ഇന്ന് ഫ്രഷേഴ്സിന്റെ. നീതു ചിലപ്പം ഒരു പക്ഷേ അമൃതയിൽ there is a huge let's say അവരൊരു walk-in drive ഒക്കെ നടത്തി 100 പേരെ ജോലിക്ക് വെച്ചു. ഫസ്റ്റ് ഡേ there is an orientation program. അപ്പം പഴയ സ്റ്റാഫ് മെമ്പേഴ്സും അവരോട് പോയി സംസാരിക്കണം എന്നൊക്കെ. ഓറിയന്റേഷൻ എന്താണ് മോനെ? ഈ പഴയ സ്റ്റാഫ് മെമ്പേഴ്സ് എന്തിനാണ് ആ ദിവസം അവിടെ പോകേണ്ടത്? പുതിയ ആൾക്കാരോട് സംസാരിക്കാൻ അവിടെ എങ്ങനെയാണ്? ജസ്റ്റ് ടു ഗൈഡ് ദം, ഡയറക്ട് ദം, ടു ഗിവ് ദം ആൻ അണ്ടർസ്റ്റാൻഡിങ്. Okay, to make them aware. Okay, that is what orientation means. I hope many of you would have heard this. Pyara, you would have heard this. Ramya, orientation. College located on download word.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
sir.
Yes. Okay. Okay. All right. So going forward, we have 1 second. I'll just make the screen a little chota. Okay, here we are. Yes, I've got this list that is getting over. I've got sublist 6. I'll be giving you guys as a homework today. I want all of you guys to try that out. Okay, so let's look at number 3. Let me first describe all the words. The words are pretty much simple, maybe apart from the last word, sustainability. So let me give the first word, that is monitor. Monitor. To monitor something is to keep an eye on something. Okay. അവർ നമ്മളെ മോണിറ്റർ ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുകയാണ്. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് എല്ലാ റൂമിലും CCTV വെച്ചേക്കുന്നത്. To monitor is to keep an eye on someone. To observe someone is monitor. Okay. Let's say one of your family members is sick. Okay. The doctor has said that his condition has to be monitored, has to be checked, has to be kept an eye on. Perfect ആയിട്ട് അതിനൊരു കണ്ണ് വെച്ചിരിക്കണം. That is called monitor. Next is energy. Energy everyone knows. Decline. Decline means when ഒരവസ്ഥേന്ന് താഴോട്ട് പോകുന്നതാണ് decline. Okay. Let's say, just like I said, our GDP has been declining. Declining എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ പണ്ട് നല്ലതായിരുന്നു, ഇപ്പം കുറഞ്ഞ് വരുന്നു. Something that decreases is called decline, declining. Next is enable. Enable is to make someone capable of something. All right. So I have enabled you with all these exercises. Your job is to practice them. So what did I do? നിങ്ങൾക്ക് ഒരു capable ആവാൻ ഒരു സംഭവം തന്നേക്കുവാണ്. I have enabled you. If you ask me the exact meaning of enable, 1 second, I don't know. To give a sanction to someone or to activate someone. That's what I would say. To enable someone is to activate someone. To ആൾക്ക് ആവശ്യമുള്ള എല്ലാ കാര്യങ്ങളും പ്രൊവൈഡ് ചെയ്തു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ that person is enabled. I'm so sorry. Okay, that person would be enabled. Okay, so next is expand. Expand is to increase in value. Expand and decline. Somewhere you will find that both these are opposite to each other. Expand is to increase in value. Decline is to go down in value. What do you mean by generate? Generate is generating employment. Your job is to generate employment. To generate, ഞാൻ ഒരു simple word പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ you can understand this as produce. To produce something is called to generate something. Okay, and the last word, like I said, last word is sustainability. ഇത് ചിലപ്പം കേട്ടിട്ടുണ്ടോ? You guys would have heard it in terms of environment and all those things.
Stable.
Sustainability. Okay. Able. Let me help you from your level. Okay. Able.
Not able. Stable.
And the stable. Areva.
Stable.
Thank you. Very good. Very, very good. I would say yes. The word is stable. ഒരു particular level കൊണ്ടുവന്ന് നിർത്തുക, അതിനെ മെയിൻറ്റെയിൻ ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ് ഈ സസ്റ്റൈനബിലിറ്റി എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. We should have sustainable measures to take care of the environment. അല്ലാതെ ഇന്ന് നമ്മൾ 10,000 ഫാക്ടറീസ് ഇട്ടു, എൻവയറമെന്റിനെ നമ്മൾ പൊല്യൂട്ട് ചെയ്ത് ഒരുമാതിരിയാക്കി, അത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് നമ്മൾ സഡൻലി ഭയങ്കരമായിട്ട് ഒരു ഫാക്ടറിയും വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല, ഒന്നും ചെയ്യുന്നില്ല. Last year during the lockdown, you guys would have seen that. Was that a sustainable measure? No. There were so many earthquakes happening here and there because the regular traffic was disturbed. There was nothing on the road. Mumbai and Delhi and all were looking at earthquakes because the environmental pattern there is disturbed. Is it a stable measure to lock down places like that? No. Can we, is it a sustainable policy to continue with the lockdown? Yes or no?
No.
No. You guys would have seen many people, yeah, so many, yeah, including us, educational institutions, so many training centers are there. Are they able to run? Are schools able to run? Are colleges able to? Chalo, leave apart colleges. Somewhere I would say the main motto is not about educating there. It is a lot of things in a college. But talk about schools, talk about training centers, talk about, let's say, tuition centers. All those are completely locked down. Talk about cinema theaters, talking about malls. Different malls are actually posting pictures. ഇപ്പം ഈ വെസ്റ്റ് സൈഡിൽ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ ഇങ്ങനത്തെ കടകളിൽ the bags and jeans and all അതിനൊക്കെ ഫംഗസ് പിടിക്കുന്നു because remember malls are continuously air conditioned. Malls അടച്ചിട്ട് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ എയർ കണ്ടീഷണർ all the സമയം. Can we put it on? Is that a sustainable measure? No, it is not a stable policy. We are losing money. So what will we do? We'll put it off. So please remember, sustainability is basically something that is required, or just like one of you said, stable, something that has to be maintained at a particular level, at a certain level. അത് വെറുതെ ചുമ്മാ കൂടുതലാക്കാനും പറ്റത്തില്ല, കുറവാക്കാനും പറ്റത്തില്ല. അതേ രീതിയിൽ കൊണ്ടുപോകണം അതിനെ. Okay, so I've given you an understanding of all the words. Now quickly look at this, fill in the blank. I would like you to do this independently, 2 minutes. We'll finish it by 4:10 maybe. So take 3 minutes and look at this. I'm not going to help you. Look at it. വേർഡ്സിന്റെ ഫോം ചിലപ്പോൾ മാറ്റേണ്ടി വരും, അതൊന്ന് ശ്രദ്ധിച്ചോണം കേട്ടോ. I think I'm doing this. It's a slightly difficult one. Shall I help you guys out so that you guys are able to at least, get the ones in a row correct? Shall I? Or do you guys want to try? Speak up. You want to try? Give it a shot. No problems. If you want me to help, you can please tell me. I'll start discussing. Anjana, giving it a try?
മാം ഞാനിപ്പോ ആൻസേഴ്സ് എഴുതിയിട്ടുണ്ട്.
Okay, fine. Okay, Nitu, answers എഴുതിയിട്ടുണ്ടോ അതോ ഞാൻ സഹായിക്കണോ?
സഹായിക്കണോ?
Okay, fine. Okay, Pyara, how about you?
ആൻസേഴ്സ് എഴുതിയിട്ടുണ്ട്.
Okay.
മാം തുടങ്ങിക്കോ, സ്റ്റാർട്ട് ചെയ്തോ.
Okay. രമ്യ, കുറച്ചൊക്കെ എന്തെങ്കിലുമൊക്കെ എഴുതിയിട്ടുണ്ടോ?
എഴുതിയിട്ടുണ്ട് മാം.
Okay, Sherry. So, Nevin, I am not disturbing because he told me, I'm not disturbing here. Okay, let's start. In a recent policy speech, പിള്ളേരെ ഇതില് മാറ്റങ്ങളുണ്ട്. So that's why I said it's a little bit I wouldn't say difficult, but it's really tricky because you have to change many word forms. So let's see. In a recent policy speech എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ ഒരു മാറ്റം കൊണ്ടുവരുന്നതാണല്ലോ പോളിസി. അപ്പോൾ ഒരു പോളിസിയുടെ കുറിച്ച് സംസാരിച്ചുകൊണ്ടിരുന്നപ്പം സ്പോക്സ്മാൻ ഫോർ ദ പ്രസിഡന്റിന്റെ ക്യാബിനറ്റിൽ നിന്നുള്ള ഒരാള് ഹാസ് അനൗൺസ്ഡ് and now we saw this word and, so the word has to start with a vowel form. We've got 3 words with vowel forms. Has announced an energy in the number na verthilla, of course. Has announced an enablement angane no, the word has to do with expand. Does anyone have any options here? Has announced an
Expansion.
expansion. Yes, that is absolutely correct. The first word is expansion. The spokesman for the president has announced an expansion in the number of nuclear power stations in the United States. Fossil fuels okay തീർന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുമല്ലേ, so everyone is going on for the nuclear option. All right, so for energy. So let's read further. He indicated that പുള്ളി ചൂണ്ടിക്കാണിച്ചു എന്താണ് that, just like I said, oil resources കുറയുവാണോ കൂടുവാണോ?
Decline. കുറയോ?
കുറഞ്ഞു. യെസ്, കുറഞ്ഞുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുവാണ്. അപ്പൊ മോനെ ഏത് ഫോം ആയിരിക്കും? ഡിക്ലൈൻ ഇടത്തില്ലടാ. ഡിക്ലൈൻ്റെ ഏത് ഫോമാ ഇവിടെ വരണ്ടേ? ഇപ്പം ഡിക്ലൈൻ. ഓക്കെ, നിലവില് തീർന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുവാണ് ഇത്.
Declining.
യെസ്, ഡിക്ലൈനിങ്. ഗുഡ്. ഓക്കെ, സംതിങ് മോനെ പിള്ളേരെ ഓർത്തോണം, ഇഫ് യു ആർ യൂസിങ് ING ഫോം, നിലവില് അത് ഇങ്ങനെ നടന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്നത് വെച്ചിട്ടാണ് നമ്മൾ ഈ ING ഫോംസ് ഇടുന്നത്. ഓയിൽ റിസോഴ്സസ് തീർന്നുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുവാണോ? അതെ. റൈറ്റ് നൗ ആസ് വി ആർ ടോക്കിംഗ് ഓൾസോ ഓയിൽ റിസോഴ്സസ് ആർ ഡിക്ലൈനിങ്. So he indicated that declining oil resources have led to the need to identify a secure power source. This form of power under secure conditions and something carefully. എന്തോ ചെയ്യണം നമ്മൾ കെയർഫുള്ളി? എന്താ ചെയ്യേണ്ടത് നമ്മൾ? എനർജി കെയർഫുള്ളി? നോ. Enable generate carefully under secure conditions and generate carefully. Okay, chalo, somewhere, because it is nuclear, so yes, that kind of a thing can be possible there, but there is another word that will come here. Somebody will
Monitor carefully.
yes, monitor veruvoda, monitored veruvo parne. Monitor എന്ന് എഴുതണോ മാം, അതോ മോണിറ്റേർഡ് എന്ന് വരണോ? This form of power under secure conditions and monitor carefully veruvo, monitored veruvo? Anyone else also wants to try, please? Pyara, monitored, monitor?
Monitored. Okay, സൂക്ഷിച്ച് നമ്മൾ നിരീക്ഷിച്ചാൽ. Will dash us to supply electricity cleanly and safely. Will Enable.
മാം മ്യൂട്ടായി പോയിട്ടുണ്ട് കേട്ടോ മാമിന്റെ. ഏഞ്ചൽ മാം.
Hi guys, I had just lost power. I think I've told you guys before, if something like this happens, remember I'll be back in 2 minutes. I hope you guys can hear me now. Let me just present the screen also. Kekalo Villare?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, great. I am presenting the screen also. You guys can see, right?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
ma'am.
Yes. Okay. Okay, guys. So let's move forward with the last part that we were at. Monitored carefully. So, എന്താണ് അത് ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത്? So this form of power, that is nuclear power under secure conditions and ശ്രദ്ധിച്ച് നമ്മൾ monitor ചെയ്താൽ will dash us to supply electricity cleanly and safely. What can we put here? Will something like help us to.
Enable.
Very good. Enable us to supply electricity cleanly and safely. The power dash by just one nuclear plant. So നമ്മൾ ഇത് കഴിഞ്ഞു. We have used this, we have used this, we have used this. Okay, so we have 3 more words here. Nebin, നിന്റെ ഓപ്ഷൻ ഇവിടെ ഫിറ്റ് ചെയ്യാവടാ. The power generated by. Good one. The power produced by. Yes. One nuclear plant can provide enough electricity for millions of homes. Critics immediately responded with concerns over health and safety. A spokesperson for Greenpeace. Okay, Greenpeace is something like, green. Green is going green without any bad effects to the environment. Going green is green. Okay, not the pacha color, but something that does not harm the environment. Okay. Spokesperson for Greenpeace said, we need to do is focus more on dash forms of dash. On dash forms, I want you to use these 2 words. We only have sustainability and energy. So how can we put both these combinations here? Forms of, chalo, let's do the last one. Sustainable, chalo, good.
Forms
Nice.
of energy.
Sources of energy, good. Sustainable, sustainability മാറിയിട്ട് നമ്മൾ എന്താണ് യൂസ് ചെയ്തിരിക്കുന്നത്? Sustainable. Just like I have written here, stable, forms of energy. So it was a little bit difficult, I would say, little bit, because all the words, most of them were changing forms. So that's why I discussed, not taking up too much time. So I've got a quick work for all of you. We had started sublist 6, right? I want you to try 2, 3. I'll help you with the pictures. 1 second, please. I want you to, just 2 exercises. Wow, yeah. Okay, so 1 second. Let me provide a screenshot for this. Okay, so let me post this in the screen. 1 second. I'm just going to do that in your group. Okay, here we go. Okay, this is a task for noon batch. All right, so you guys have this task. I've already posted this in the group. Anjana, just hold your horses. I'll just forward whatever you need. Okay, don't worry on
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
that. Okay, I'm not waiting here. Tomorrow you guys all have an off. I want you to do sublist 7. I'll give you at least 2 homework. Acha, homeworks എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞില്ലല്ലോ ഞാൻ. പിള്ളേരെ ഹോംവർക്ക് ഒരെണ്ണാണെങ്കിലും 100,000 ഹോംവർക്ക് ഉണ്ടെങ്കിലും, okay, home task, that is ഒരു ടീച്ചർ തരുന്ന വർക്ക്, okay, please call it homework. There is no S to it. Ma'am, my child has a lot of homeworks. അങ്ങനെ പറയില്ല, തെറ്റാണ് അത് കേട്ടോ. While we were at school, we were given a lot of homeworks. അങ്ങനെ പറയത്തില്ല. ഹോംവർക്ക് ഒരെണ്ണാണെങ്കിലും പകുതിയാണെങ്കിലും 100 ആണെങ്കിലും we'll call it homework. Okay, homework is a word like that. Do not put an s to it. It is always there in singular form. So sublist 7 la namakku we'll go. Acha, you guys have already, so I would want you, acha, what do you mean by this word paradigm? Paradigm, anyone knows the word paradigm? Paradigm is actually a word that is used for an example. Okay, an example. ഒന്ന് എഴുതിക്കോ പിള്ളേരെ. What it means is a typical example of something. Paradigm is that. A paradigm shift that we saw in the consumption. Paradigm shift എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ ഇങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു എക്സാംപ്ലറി ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ഷിഫ്റ്റ്, ഇങ്ങനത്തെ ഒരു മോഡൽ ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരു ഷിഫ്റ്റ്. സോ പാരഡൈം ഇസ് കുറച്ചും കൂടെ ലെവൽ കൂടിയ വേർഡാണ്, ബട്ട് ഐ എം ജസ്റ്റ് ഗിവിംഗ് യു ആൻ എക്സാമ്പിൾ. Empirically, people who have gone through 101 words, empirical. Did you go through this word empirical there? Pyara, Anjana, empirical. കണ്ടായിരുന്നോ?
എംപെറിക്കൽ കണ്ടു മാം. എംപെറിക്കൽ സ്റ്റഡി എന്നൊക്കെ കേട്ടിട്ടുണ്ട്.
Yes. Empirical
എവിഡൻസ്
study.
ബേസ്ഡ്.
Yes, evidence and number based. Okay, figure based. Okay, mathematical ആയിരിക്കും empirical study. Okay, so what you said is correct. Evidence based, or just like I said, evidence could be mostly in terms of numbers. Statistical, that is empirical. Classical. I think everyone should know what is classical dancing. Classical is something which is
ട്രഡീഷണൽ.
traditional, relating to art basically. Adana classical music, classical dancing, classical novels. So somewhere and all they'll be related to art culture എങ്ങനെയാണെങ്കിലും. Okay now, but a history based ആയിട്ട് എന്തെങ്കിലും ആയിരിക്കും. That's why I call the word art. A traditional, like you said, a traditional form of something, all that is correct. Classical is that. Paradigm, like I said, is another word for the word example. Couple is not just mention and three couple, not like that, boy and girl, not like that. A couple of examples could be at least 2 examples. Couple always stands for the word two. Okay, so I've got a couple of dogs. So how many dogs have I got? I've got at least 2 dogs for sure. Okay, use this word aid. Where have you heard this? First aid. Ellarum kettittundo first aid. What do you mean by that? First aid. We use a very help. Yes. When I aid, he came to my aid. He came to my help. Okay, aid is a very good word for help. If you want to improve your vocabulary, you want to use help in the sthalatla. He helped me. He aided me. The company has helped us with an medical insurance policy. The company has aided us with a medical insurance policy. Aid means help. Finite. What do you mean by the word finite? Infinite. Infinite is without any limit. Unlimited is infinite. So what would be infinite? Antonym ആണ് ഞാൻ പറഞ്ഞത്. അപ്പം ഫൈനൈറ്റ് എന്തായിരിക്കും?
ലിമിറ്റഡ്.
Limited. Exactly. Something that is limited. ഒത്തിരി ഉണ്ടോ? ഇല്ല. എന്തോ ഒരു ലിമിറ്റ് ഉണ്ട് അതിന്. Okay, that is finite. Okay, infinite. What is infinite? There are infinite number of stars in the night sky. And number 2, illa. Unlimited number of stars. Finite. There are finite options for this. Finite is limited options. Limited. Intervention. What do you mean by this word? The police has intervened. There has been an intervention from the government. Involvement. Okay, intervention means involvement, some kind of an involvement. Give me a Malayalam word for it, please. Somebody. Intervention, involvement.
ഇടപെടൽ.
ഇടപെടൽ. Very good. Thank you. Yes. Involvement. ഇടപെട്ടുകൊണ്ടിരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു പ്രോസസ്സിനാണ് ഇന്റർവെൻഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. Correct. Okay, so these are the meanings of these words. I want you to try out this as well on screen here. These two. I would like you to try this also. Number 3. 1 second. Tomorrow you guys all have an off. Sit and do it aram say tomorrow. So I've sent it. These two I've sent. 1 second. I think we've got just one. Yeah. ഇത്രയും കൂടെ ഉണ്ട്. ഇതും കൂടെ ഇടുവാണ്. I'm just putting this part. Okay. I'm just putting this part also. Here we go. Control V.
മാം
Yes, dear.
സബ് ലിസ്റ്റ് ഗ്രൂപ്പിലിടാമോ?
സബ് ലിസ്റ്റ് ഗ്രൂപ്പിലിടാലോ. സബ് ലിസ്റ്റ് ഏതാടാ കൂട്ടാ? 5
സെക്കൻഡ് മാത്രമേ ഞങ്ങളുടെ കയ്യിലുള്ളൂ, ബാക്കി
ഇല്ലല്ലോ. അപ്പം
Third one.
I think third onwards അല്ലേ? Yeah, from here. Okay. ഒരു സെക്കൻഡ് അതും കൂടെ ഇട്ടേക്കാം. So if you want, you guys can disconnect. I'm just putting this sublist as well. അതും കൂടെ കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ the class is done for today. ഒരു മിനിറ്റ് ഇവനെ കുറച്ച് ഒന്ന് ചെറുതാക്കട്ടെ. Okay, Thursday we'll be starting with listening. ഈ വർക്കൊക്കെ ഒന്ന് അയച്ചു തരണം കേട്ടോ. So volume വരുമല്ലോ. Okay. Guys, this is sublist 3. Yeah? So I'm just taking a print screen. I'm just sending it in the group. അപ്പം എനിക്ക് നാളെ എന്തായാലും as you guys are practicing. Sir, could you take this call? Jaren kai? Jaren. So this is sublist 3.
Hello.
Sublist 3 is here. Okay. Mane sublist 4 ആണ് next. 4 നമ്മൾ കുറച്ച് ഡിസ്കസും ചെയ്തായിരുന്നു. Great. ഒരു മിനിറ്റ് തന്നെ. Yes, this is your sublist 4 here. This is sublist 4. 1 second. Sublist 4. Here we go. Sublist 4 and 2, and I've got sublist 5 and 6. This is 5. No, this is 6. This is 5. Whereas, yes, I've got sublist 5 here, and then screen. Let me just put it in the group. This is sublist 5. And one more to go. That is sublist 6. 6 and 7 ഞാൻ ഇടുവാണ്. 7 I have just given you for homework. This is 6. So sublist 6. 1 second, please. Transport, utility, effort. Yeah. Okay. This is sublist 6. Sublist 6. And we have sublist 7, the last one. This is, yes, this is sublist 7. I'll just make it a little more big. Sublist 7. Voluntary, yes. Okay, so I have put until sublist 7. Okay. Sublist. I've given you the work also. Okay. So remember, tick mark ma'am chedekunadu sublist 6 inde exercises aanu. This is for sublist 7. Random onnu cheyanam, attempt these and let me know by tomorrow. You guys have enough of time tomorrow. You don't have a class. Okay. Nale onnu cheydu melle as you get time, send it to me. All right. So that's about it, guys. Thank you so much for the class. Let's disconnect and meet day after tomorrow with listening. We'll start with listening. Okay, so make sure you're sending me all the work tomorrow. Tomorrow by evening, by night, you can send me. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, dear. Thank you.